Welcome to the Sustainable Urban Agriculture Coalition's monthly meeting. We have gone virtual, as you may have already noticed. And yeah, we are super excited to have everybody on video and see your faces, and we'll have an opportunity to get into even smaller groups, so you'll feel more comfortable chatting with one another. And the topic for tonight, you want to go to the next slide? Oh, okay, wait, let's do this first. So you can become a member of the Sustainable Urban Agriculture Coalition or donate by visiting our website for on Square. It's wedigstpete.square. I can't see what that says. .site. Okay. And so your donations and your membership pay for a number of things. Your insurance. We have a scholarship fund. We pay for Zoom. Obviously, we have other expenses, and we'd like to continue to support the sustainable urban ag community in various ways, and we can do so with your support. So thank you if you've already donated or become a member. Next slide.
Are you able to, do you see my chat box and participants in the way?
I don't.
Good, great news.
Yeah. I also want to give a shout out to the St. Pete Time Bank, as always. The Sustainable Urban Agriculture Coalition is an organizational member of the St. Pete Time Bank. That means activated Time Bank members are able to earn time credits for attending our Ag Ed meetings. So if you'd like to, I'll record the exchanges. All I need from you guys is to, in the chat, message me. So if you look for, actually, why don't we message Heather, the host, and we'll pull all the names from the transcripts. So if you're an activated Time Bank member, please chat us and we will record the exchange for you. Very good. Upcoming events. We have September lined up. And normally our meetings are on the first Monday of the month, but in this case, Labor Day is the first Monday, so we're going to be meeting virtually on September 14th, same time from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. And we're going to be covering growing edible mushrooms with Caitlin Fogarty. She's with Orlando Permaculture and is a permaculture designer. And so please check out our event on Facebook. We're also looking for your feedback on what in particular you'd like to learn to give Caitlin feedback to maybe structure her talk to our membership. So go ahead and get in that event and indicate that you're interested or going, and in the discussion you can leave your questions, your remarks, and we'll give that feedback to Caitlin. All right, next slide. Oh, we had a disclaimer. There we go. Oh, us. Okay. Okay, we are your hosts this evening. Jen Andriani. I'm the founder of the Blue House Regenerative Living Project, which is a regenerative solutions demonstration site near downtown St. Petersburg. I just love sharing what's possible on a relatively small size property in terms of growing food, having renewable energy, and community composting and community engagement. And I have a Facebook page. I love giving tours and working with people one-on-one in the garden using safe social distancing procedures. So if you're interested in connecting with me to participate in that way, you can check out my Facebook page. And Heather, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Heather, Heather Henderson. I'm the Vice President for SUAC and have been a gardener for the last 10, 12 years. I was really engaged in school gardens and managing school gardens, but now I work for an organization that doubles SNAP EBT food stamps at farmers markets and other places where locally grown produce is sold. So I'm really interested in how food access and local agriculture and sustainable agriculture intersect. and also how we can use technology to make things easier for our farmers and for people to get produce. But with my SUAC hat on, I help Jen and the rest of the board put together some really great education for everybody and make the wheels turn.
You're awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. All right, next slide. We thought we'd include a disclaimer. Just, the materials and the ideas shared this evening are for educational purposes only, and we suggest before changing your diet or adding new foods, just consult a physician before you do that. That's it.
Great, thank you, Jen. So welcome to anybody who has just joined us. We have about 40 folks here, and it's really great to see all of your faces. If you're not familiar with Zoom, I encourage you to kind of poke around, check out the chat feature, and feel free throughout any part of our conversation here to type anything in the chat. Feel free to take a break if you need to. You can turn your video off if you have to take a break and go to the bathroom. Take care of yourself. We'll be together the next about hour and a half. But we're doing something a little bit different tonight. In the past, we've brought speakers and panels on, but we really understand how much folks want to connect and socialize, especially right now when we're spending a lot more time at home with our families. And we have that opportunity at our in-person meetings. We really try to give time in the beginning and the end for folks to interact, ask questions, and just engage with their fellow gardeners. And we also know that in a lot of these educational events, the knowledge is in the room, right? We have so many amazing gardeners and permaculturists in our community who have really great knowledge. And we also have folks who are just starting to get on their journey to growing their own food. So we're really looking forward to having some breakout rooms. They'll be small, between 4 and 6 people, for you to talk to each other about how you plan your garden, how you get the materials that you need. I think that's one of the hardest things these days is, how do I get my soil? Where are you getting your cuttings for your chaya, Amber? So we are gonna have a few facilitated breakout rooms, but we're gonna come back together and share what we've learned and kind of draw some themes out of that. So we're excited, bear with us because this is the first time we've done this. And I'm excited, but also a little bit nervous.
We got this.
Yeah, so a few guidelines. So we're gonna be going into breakout rooms. When I let you know, you'll see a little thing pop up on your screen and it'll say, you're going to breakout room 2 or 3. I haven't pre-assigned it, it's gonna be random. But if possible, if there's somebody in the breakout room who is comfortable taking notes with Google Docs, Jen's gonna put a link in the chat right now to a Google document. It's a shared document for everybody. There might be a better way to do this in the future, but we're gonna see how this goes this time. If you're one of those people who's comfortable with Google Docs and maybe comfortable with splitting your screen so you can see the screen and the notes at the same time, I have to do that a lot with my job. Please open this now so that you're ready. And once we get into the breakout rooms, only one person in the room needs to take notes, but if y'all have it open already, better that than trying to figure it out on the fly. So we'd love one person in the room to take notes. Because it's random, you won't have a necessary facilitator in your room. So we just encourage you to know that everyone has something to share and be brief, but to allow other people to speak. If you're the kind of person who doesn't always like to speak up, take that opportunity that you're in a very small room of 4 to 6 folks to share your experience and ask questions. Take some time to briefly introduce yourselves so that you know each other's names. and come with some curiosity and try to leave judgment and comparison at the door. We all have a lot of different perspectives and we have a lot to learn from one another. So, all of that being said, these are going to be our first breakout room questions. You will have about 20 minutes in your breakout room. I'm going to be out here in the main room and I can type to you, so I'll let you know, oh, you have 10 minutes left, you have 5 minutes left. These questions can also be found in the Google Doc, so don't worry if you don't have them memorized, and I'll also type them to you in the breakout room. So the intention of this conversation, this first one, is about designing and planning. You know, how do you decide what plants you're going to grow the next season? Is it about what did well the season before? Is it about what you and your family like to eat? How do you decide your placement of either your garden or your food forest or your permaculture landscape? I know we have some annual growers here, we have some perennial growers, and we have people who do a little bit of both. How do you set up your garden for success now? Like, what are you doing right now so that you can grow your best in the fall? And we have, and then how do you design for our climate? Hurricanes, flooding, heat, and a bonus question, if you get through all 4 of those, do you grow in the summer or do you take a break? So get through as many as you can. You might not get through all of them, but after the 20 minutes, we're going to come back together, and I'm going to encourage folks to type things that they've learned in the chat, and then we'll pick a few people who feel like sharing out loud to share verbally with everyone. Jen, do you have anything to add?
I think you did a great job. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm not seeing anything come through. So I added the link to the Google document that your note taker in your room will be using. And so you can click that link to launch the editable document. So go ahead and click that now. And Heather will be keeping time, and she'll let us know when it's time to come out, and she'll bring us back out to the main session.
Great, thank you, Jen. And if for some reason you're in your room and you're just like not having it, you're not having a good time, feel free to leave. You'll just come out with me and I'll be here twiddling my fingers until someone comes out. And I'm fun to talk to. I don't I don't garden very much right now because I live in an apartment, but I'm happy to have some banter out in the main room if you feel like leaving your room. So
Heather is awesome to talk to. Cameron made it. He says he's new to gardening and couldn't answer some of the questions. Is it okay just to listen? Of course, this is for everyone of all styles, all experience levels. Experienced gardeners will hear new perspectives, and new folks will be able to hear from other people's experiences. So yeah. Absolutely. And Tambra says, how do I get into the breakout room? Heather will put you where you need to be automatically, so you don't have to do anything.
Yep. So I'm about to hit the blue button that says create rooms. When I do that, you should get a little pop-up. It might take a couple of seconds. That'll say, you're going into breakout room 2, and I think you have to click OK. So ready, set, go. Open all rooms. People are going.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I think everybody has about a minute to say they're coming back, so we'll have folks straggling in over the next 60 seconds.
So the meeting is, how long does the meeting go till?
It'll probably go till about 8:15. Tonight,
Okay.
usually we usually stop at 8, but to get the breakout rooms, we might go a little bit over.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey everyone, welcome back.
Hi.
Hi. So I hope everybody had good conversations and learned a thing or two. I would love to hear something you've learned or something you shared in the breakout room. So for now, let's type them in the chat, but if you're interested in sharing out loud, save it and we'll do that in just a minute. So go ahead and type in the chat something you learned. Oh my gosh, so much good stuff. I'm going to read some of them out loud. And this is, so I don't think we said this at the beginning, but our intention is to gather a lot of this information and put it together into a document that we can share with everybody. That was why I had folks take notes. I don't know how that went, but we'll see. And I can take this chat and use that as well. A lot of good information on UF-IFAS, yes. We also have our own SUAC approved planting schedule that I'll share out when we share out the notes and the recording for this call. IFAS has really great information, and Bill has kind of amended that IFAS one to his experience specifically in safety. Someone recommended a Netflix series called Grow, Cook, and Eat. I have not heard of that, and that's on my list now. The importance of growing soil, yes, 100%, especially here in Florida with our sandy soil. Building and growing soil, it's alive. Planting taller plants on the north side of the garden to shade, so smart. Dehydrated star fruit. If you're growing star fruit, you know that you need to figure out something to do with it because it will grow like crazy. Jen, do we have you back? Maybe not.
We do. I had lost in a world of screens. I couldn't even tell.
You're back.
I'm here. Hi.
Hey, I'm starting to read these. There's so many and it's amazing. I do want to pick, can you do me a favor and put your folks in gallery view? And if somebody would like to share how their conversation went, something they've learned, if you can like put your spirit fingers up so Jen can call on you to share.
Okay. Of the people that have shared their video, I'm not seeing any spirit fingers.
Oh no.
Don't we have a raise hand button? No, we don't, do we?
We don't.
What about the clap reaction or something?
That works.
There's a raise hand button. If you go to where it says participants with the 3 dots and you click on it, at the bottom, at least of my phone screen, it says raise hand and a few other options.
Oh, okay.
Oh, mine doesn't, but that's probably
Oh,
because
it does. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to keep going. Oh, Brenda and I talked about how you can saute sweet potato leaves. Jen, how else do you use your sweet potato leaves in your cooking?
I just had them for dinner. I mean, they're very delicate, so they don't need very much time or heat. They get really velvety, and so yeah, I just throw them in at the very end of a saute. Put them in like your pasta water at the very end. I mean, just really, it's so easy. I mean, it's just like my lazy greens. It's the opposite of chaya. You don't have to cook them for like 10 minutes. You just 8 seconds or something.
No worry of getting sick from anything in there, huh?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
So I have a quickie question, and it dawned on me. So I spent the weekend cutting back my mulberry trees in my yard and my moringa, and moringa branches are all over the yard. And then it dawned on me that Silly goose, I should have been collecting all the leaves. I could have been drying them. Does anybody dry their moringa? And if so, what's the easiest way to do it down here?
I know there are folks that do.
Thank you for your question.
I have.
How do you dry moringa leaves?
You take a big branch and you hang it. Do you have a patio, screen patio?
No.
And hang it under the eaves or something, out of the rain,
Okay.
to get it started. Actually, I have a friend who, in Florida, this time of year, it's just too humid to dry them completely. So he would dry them inside on a big screen in a spare bedroom. And he told me that when, you know, they're partially dried, you can pick the stems off them, and then he puts them in the refrigerator to finish drying. Most refrigerators, the air is dry inside of them. And
Would never thought to do that.
yeah, once they have to become really, really crunchy,
Right.
put them in a blender and make powder. But yeah,
Deborah, I took mine just in a big bunch and tied them,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stalks, tied them and put them in the garage and forgot about them. Now, I didn't put my car in the garage, so there's no car exhaust or anything, but I just hung them. I had hung them on the garage door rack where the garage door was, and just forgot about them. And next thing I know, they were dry, and I pulverized them and put them in a little shaker, and I put them in everything.
There
And
you
then
go.
we've also
Okay.
dehydrated them too, to where I put them in the dehydrator so it doesn't, I mean, the dehydrator probably isn't as hot as the garage was. The garage was hot,
Mhm.
but yeah. And then I just stripped them off and pulverized them.
Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks for sharing, everybody. I'm going to read a couple more of these that folks said in the chat. Oh, definitely. So there was a recommendation of organic methods for vegetable gardening in Florida. Great book. From what I have learned in my time growing in Florida is that it's very different than growing anywhere else. I'm born and raised here, but I lived in upstate New York and Connecticut, and things just seem to grow very easily up there. But here, we have to grow things that are happy to grow in our soils, or we have to really amend our soils. So finding gardening books that are specific to Florida and specific to our region, I think is a great idea. Does anyone else have any recommendations for some of their favorite Florida gardening books? Can say it out loud or put it in the chat.
where is it?
Diane's looking for one.
I know, I pulled it out for my group and then I don't know what, oh, here it is. Ha!
Vegetable gardening in Florida.
Vegetable Gardening in Florida by James M. Stevens.
Cool. There's one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's by someone named Marabou. If anybody remembers what that one is, and it has really neat illustrations and ideas for using crops that grow well here. I can't remember the name of it to save my life though. I will figure it out and I will include it in the notes. Or maybe Diane has it.
No, I don't have that one, but I heard about it.
It's really neat.
Stupid thing.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you see me?
I can't, but I don't have gallery view on, so I'm sure I can.
No, Jan, no, I can't see you.
How do I do that?
If you're on your computer, it should be on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, next to mute, the start video.
Okay, hang on. Okay, there we go. I got it.
There you are. We see you.
How do you turn on gallery view?
There's a little, my screen's a little different because I'm sharing my screen, but I think in the top right corner you can either, it's like a box of 3 by 3 squares, and then that lets you see more folks.
Okay.
So we're gonna get ready for our second breakout group. So we're doing 2 tonight. It'll be another random one, so you'll have different folks. Maybe statistically, you'll probably have at least one person that you were in before, but this one's going to be about implementation. Oh, I lost. Don't mind me with my technical difficulties. Implementation and materials. We find that a lot of the times in our in-person meetings, it's about exchanging seedlings and letting folks know this is where I got the best mulch, this is where I'm able to pick up my coffee grounds. So this is an opportunity to share where you get your seeds and plants and cuttings, if you buy soil, or how do you make your soil and how do you get your soil amendments, and how do you plant your garden, you know, who helps you, and what does your day of planting look like. So I'm going to put y'all back into your rooms. I'm going to recreate them.
Can I say something before we go back into the room?
Please, anybody.
I need help, actually. I help a food bank that has lots of scraps food left over for composting, as Jen can attest to. And I need people to come pick up the scraps. I had 7 truckloads last month in one day of scrap food.
Yes, you did.
And I needed to go to the gardens. So I need help for people to, you know, give me numbers so I can call you and you'll come get it.
So I'm going to put in the chat, if anyone's interested in picking up food scraps, to put their email and phone number in the chat. You could also, if you feel more comfortable, you can just send me a message directly. But
I'll give you my phone number. They can text me. Okay. I don't care. I just need help.
I'll send out your number and you know, the fact that you're looking for scraps out in the notes that we get out tomorrow.
No, I'm not looking for scraps. I'm looking for people to take it.
Yeah, sorry, I said that incorrectly. I will, but I'll make sure folks know that you have scraps for folks to pick up. And Rachel Perino really wants scraps with 2 exclamation points, and she put her number and email, and I'll make sure to get that to you.
Yeah, it's every Saturday and sometimes Fridays. We're trying to do it on Fridays so it won't interfere with our Saturday give out.
Yeah.
This is huge, people. This is
Keep that in mind in the chat room.
Yeah. Thanks, Susie.
All right. Unless we have any last words, I'm going to put you back in your rooms, and then we'll do this again. We'll come back together, and then we'll wrap up. All right. Rooms are opening. Actually, I accidentally put like all of the SUAC board together last time, so I want to make sure.
I did.
It was random. It was random. Okay.
It was a major score for me.
She was happy about that.
Cool. It didn't happen this time. Cool. Opening the rooms. Yeah. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had good conversations. And I'm sorry if anyone wasn't able to access the Google Doc. I slipped on that. But if you can take a minute, we'll give it a couple minutes to type some things that you've learned in your breakout rooms or something that you shared that you thought was valuable to the folks in your room, that would be great. I'm gonna try to read some of them, and then I'll ask some folks maybe to share some of the things that they learned out loud. Ooh, how to harvest rainwater to safely use on edibles. I would love more information on that. Christine, if you care to share, or whoever shared that with you would care to share about.
Yeah, I would pass the buck. It was really great information to Jay and Diane, who were in my group, who were sharing some strategies they use to do that.
Well, Jay or Diane, do you have something to say? I know Diane gave us a really great rainwater harvesting presentation about a year ago, and I know it could be a whole hour and a half presentation, but do you have some quick tips?
Oh, come on. There.
Ooh, Judith Scott likes Baker Creek for seeds. And folks seem to really like Lufkin's Tractor Supply for bulk soil and mulch. I've gotten, they're called cattle panels from there, which work really well as trellises. They're really thick, large, squared wire. Oh, Lufkin's and Tractor Supply are two separate places. Jen, are you back with me?
Yes.
Okay.
My button.
Did you get the cattle panels from Lufkin's or Tractor Supply?
I got them from Tractor Supply. I got them from the one in Bradenton. I drove over the bridge to get them, but it was worth it. I think they're about 20 bucks a piece, and I used them at a school garden that had beds that were, about 3 feet apart, and then did like an arch between them to grow the cucumbers and nasturtiums and other viney things.
Someone in my group watched some videos on YouTube and did her own drip irrigation, which I applaud. That's awesome.
Awesome. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share before we wrap up?
Well, I'm making boxes right now, vegetable garden boxes, and where would be the best place to get the dirt?
That's a good question. I'm seeing that folks are able to get some bulk soil from Lufkin's, where is Lufkin's?
It's in St. Pete.
Okay.
They'll do delivery. I've purchased organic soil from them before. They'll do delivery, minimum 3 cubic yards. I want to say that was like $136.
Can you type the phone number and information?
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, at least the name. But what we're gonna do after this call and tomorrow morning, and we'll get it out in the afternoon, is kind of take all of this awesome information that folks shared and put it into a document that is easy to read, has websites and phone numbers and stuff.
Here's another thought about soil. If you would read the book on square foot gardening, there's a recommendation on how to build basically a soilless mix. And it's a 3-part one of vermiculite, peat moss, and compost. And if you're dealing with small volumes like containers or even raised beds, it's not that expensive to fill something like that as opposed to trying to buy, poor quality dirt and trying to turn it into soil. So square foot gardening, well worth researching.
I'll make sure to include that. I'm trying to spell peat right now, and I realize that I don't know how to.
P-E-A-T?
P-E-E-T?
No. Did we already plug Mixed Soil and being a community compost drop-off site? We did?
We didn't say it out loud. It's been in the chat a few times. I want you to talk about it as the resident community compost guru expert.
I love making community compost. I have so many awesome friends and neighbors that come over and bring me their food scraps. I have a bin that's out in the front yard. People put their food scraps in, and they just cover it with mulch, and in like a month and a half, it gets full, and then I turn it and water it, and then another month I have compost that I grow food in. So if you're interested in getting started, maybe you already have a compost bin, but you just want more material, you can go to mixsoil.org, become a soil site, and that way people can find you. And I highly, highly, highly recommend printing out a sign, waterproofing it, and putting it someplace visible. If you have a sidewalk in front of your house, I'm pretty sure that's why I have like 25 soil supporters signed up, because they know I'm in their neighborhood. Yeah. And if you need help composting, there are a lot of resources out there, but that's something that I'm super passionate about, and you can reach out to me and I can give you some tips.
Cool. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah.
So we're approaching 8 o'clock, and I want to be respectful of folks' time. I'm gonna open it up for any last comments, but then we'll do some community announcements. So does anybody have any last comments? I'm so excited to get these notes out and refined.
Heat resistant seeds like carrots and stuff like that. Where would the best place to get heat resistant vegetable seeds?
So was it the Southern, I keep getting the name wrong, Southern Exposure? They have some heat tolerant varieties. Like I just got their tomatoes and lettuce. You can actually grow over the summer. Yeah, Southern Exposure. So check them out. And hopefully the seed companies have caught up to demand, because they were out of stock or not selling retail for a few months there. Will this meeting be available?
The IFAS website has a list of vegetables, and it will tell you which varieties will work in Florida. You know, most of your seed companies, in fact, none of your seed companies are based here in Florida. You know, they're in Michigan, Ohio, Maine, Massachusetts, places like that.
Someone mentioned Echo, which is a great resource. Echo Global Farm is down in Fort Myers, but they do online orders, and they're a research facility and grow some really neat crops there and do some seed sales. Not all of them are cultivated at the research farm. Some of them are cultivated in other countries, but they have some really good heat-happy crops.
Okay, thank you.
Can Elise Pickett sell seeds too?
Yeah, I was going to mention Elise, Urban Homestead. Is it Urban Homestead? What's her?
Urban Harvest.
Urban Harvest.
She's a seed club, so it's like a subscription. And Jen, you're a part of her seed club, right?
I am. Yeah, it's fun. You get a little package in the mail with 3 varieties of seeds to plant now here in our area.
I just joined. I just got my cowpeas last week, so.
Yeah.
So when are you starting to seed your fall crop? What is your time frame for seeding, and are you letting some of your beds rest right now?
Does anyone have a good answer for that?
Yes, my beds are resting. Some of them are resting, and some of them just finished being prepped for seeding next week. And following the ICES guidelines, I'm going to be planting bush beans, pole beans, carrots, eggplant, peppers, spinach, and tomatoes in the month of August.
What is that you're looking at?
This is a IFAS, Organic Vegetable Gardening Guide.
And we'll include both that and the SUAC growing guides in our notes. I know I don't grow in the summer because I don't like going outside in the summer here. I hate heat. And so I usually throw down some cowpeas and let them give a little bit of nitrogen to the little amount of soil I have at my apartment and let it go wild. And I don't start seeds, I buy seedlings from folks because the light at my apartment is so shoddy that everything ends up being leggy, and I tend to purchase from people like Bill, Billadoe with Earth Song, and Albert with the Moon Landing, and we'll include their information in our notes.
There's some other people, maybe even on this call, that sell or offer plants and seedlings and stuff. Does anybody else want to give a shout out to their own nursery operations?
Hi, I'm Rachel, and we, my partner and I just started a little home-based nursery called the Little Tree Nursery. So you can find us on Facebook or Instagram, and we are focusing on season Florida veggies for the season. So, you know, we have a few August things coming up really soon, and we'll just every month, the plants that we have will be plants that you want to plant during that month in this area.
Awesome. And we'll link Rachel's Little Tree Nursery Facebook in with the notes.
Aww. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Supporting the local regenerative economy. Love it. All right. That might be it. So how about any other questions that y'all might have? We have a Facebook group. I'd love to encourage y'all to join. So if you go to the Sustainable Urban Agriculture Coalition's Facebook page, there's a button. This is like, go to the group or whatever. Ask to join and bring your questions there, and we'll continue the conversation. You'll probably have some more ideas or questions as the month goes on, and we'll continue to support that. Sorry, my dog.
What a wonderful
really
dog.
need to walk her right now. So.
No worries, Jen. But yeah, great idea for folks to join our SUAC group. We're trying to keep it active and bring your questions and keep an eye out for things that you might be able to provide answers to. We'd also love for you to sign up for our mailing list. Don't worry about writing all these numbers and letters down. I'll include it in the notes. But it's the best way to stay up to date with that on our Facebook page. And this would be cool if you wrote it down. We would love your feedback. We are a member-based organization, and what we provide comes from the ideas of our membership. So we'd love to know what you thought about this new style of SUAC meeting with the breakout rooms. So I'll include this in the notes, but if you feel like doing it with it fresh in your mind, it's bit.ly, 2 big X, and Jen put it in the chat like a sweetheart. It also asks for things that you might want to see in the future. So let us know. This is for you. We're happy to provide whatever anyone wants to learn.
Awesome.
How will we get the notes? I missed that part.
So we'll send the notes. What we usually do is put it on the main Facebook page, as well as in the Facebook group and in the MailChimp. So if you're not on the MailChimp, check out the Facebook page. And if you're not on Facebook and also not in the MailChimp, put your email in the chat and I'll make sure they get to you. So thanks, everybody. And Jen looks like she wants to say something. Go for it.
If my dog will allow me to speak. Yeah, you can join our MailChimp, I believe, from our Facebook page. Is that right?
Yeah.
Heather? Yeah, okay. Cool. So you can do it that way too. I think that's it. Are there any more slides? I can't remember.
We just have some time for community announcements, but thank you everyone and happy growing. A reminder that our next education opportunity is going to be the second Monday instead of the first Monday because of Labor Day, and it's going to be on edible mushrooms with Caitlin Fogarty of Orlando Permaculture. And we are excited to see you then. We like to give time at the end for any community announcements. If you have an upcoming class that's relevant, if you have anything you'd like to share with the group, unmute yourself and go right ahead. And we'll be sure to include it in the notes.
The sustainable vegetable garden on Sly, they can always use volunteers and everything like that over there. Cool. It's really directly across the street from the zoo.
It used to be called Fat Beat.
And are you still going to do your biochar?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, was it called Fat Beats for a time? I think I remember that place.
I don't know. I just know it's right now we volunteer 3 times a week there, and as far as I know, it's called the Sustainable Vegetable Garden. Literally, it's across the street from the Lowry Park Zoo.
Cool.
It's a community vegetable garden. They do
I'm familiar
classes.
with them too. They're called Sustainable Living Project, and I know they have an Instagram page and a Facebook page if people are on social media.
Yeah, that's it. And they do all kinds of volunteer and training classes and stuff too.
Great. I'll make sure to include the information about that in the notes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having
growing. Sorry, are they still growing at the Heritage Village in St. Pete?
The garden that's had a million names. It is, what is it now? The 14th Street Agra Hub.
15th Street.
15th Street.
That's the one part that hasn't changed.
This was at the Pioneer Village.
Oh.
Okay, that's different, yeah.
At the Pioneer Village, and there was a fairly big community garden there that I don't know if they're still growing. I keep looking for it. I was there once and helped out, but I was looking to see if they're still growing there.
I believe Lisa Pineda is working with some Gibbs High School students on that right now, and she's always looking for volunteers. So I'll check in with her about the days and times for that.